Absolutely confirmed. Morgan Gibbs-White will be a Tottenham player, with Forest having found no problem in the deal. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. Tottenham remain fully confident that the signing of Morgan Gibbs-White is effectively sealed, despite ongoing attempts by Nottingham Forest to stall the inevitable. The North London club are convinced that the England international will be wearing a Spurs shirt this summer, with the only remaining hurdle being Forest's refusal to formally sanction the move. According to finance expert Stefan Borson, speaking exclusively to Football Insider, Forest have not lodged any official complaint with the Premier League, contradicting earlier reports suggesting legal action was underway. Instead, Forest's tactics are being viewed as a delaying strategy designed to buy time and convince Gibbs-White to commit to a new contract. However, those efforts have categorically failed. The player has already made it clear to Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis that he wishes to join Tottenham Hotspur and no other club. He has reportedly given the club a firm deadline. He wants the transfer finalised by Monday, before Forest depart for their pre-season tour in Portugal. Gibbs-White's determination was further underlined during friendly against Monaco, where he played what many now believe was his final match for Forest. At full time, he appeared to wave goodbye to the supporters in what has widely been interpreted as a clear gesture of farewell. Tottenham's belief in the deal's completion is underpinned by legal clarity surrounding the situation. Borson explained that once a release clause is activated, the player is within his rights to engage in negotiations with another club, a position Spurs have taken confidently. He also noted that Forest would have no substantial legal grounds to pursue a complaint, as there has been no financial loss and no evidence of wrongdoing. Nevertheless, Borson suggested that, in order to smooth relations and expedite the transfer, Tottenham may opt to pay an additional £10 million on top of the existing £60 million clause. This would allow Forest to save face while enabling Spurs to secure one of their top summer targets without further disruption. With Thomas Frank eager to have Gibbs-White on board before Spurs jet off for their pre-season tour of Asia, the pressure is now squarely on Forest to stop obstructing the deal and finalise the paperwork. As it stands, Gibbs-White's heart is already in N17, and both clubs as well as the fans know it is simply a matter of time before the transfer is officially announced. Spurs hold fresh talks over deal to sign Joao Palhinha from Bayern Munich. Tottenham have made advances over a move for an experienced Bayern Munich midfielder who has now indicated that he would be open to a move to North London. It has been reported over the last few days that next on Tottenham's agenda is signing a top-class number 6, which is an area that Frank is keen on strengthening. That certainly makes sense amidst reports that Spurs are now trying to offload Yves Bissouma, who has just a year left on his contract. It was previously reported that Tottenham were keeping an eye on Joao Palhinha, and it has now emerged that the Lily-Whites have advanced on the Bayern Munich star. A new report from TBR Football has now revealed that Spurs held a new round of talks with Bayern last week over a deal for the former Fulham man. The report claims that the Portuguese international is an active option being considered by Spurs as they scour the market for a new defensive midfielder. The outlet claims that even though Palhinha is of interest to Inter Milan, the midfielder has now indicated a willingness to return to the Premier League this summer. This comes as a boost to Tottenham as they continue to work on a deal for the 30-year-old, who made the move to Allianz Arena from Craven Cottage in a £47 million deal last summer. TBR Football also back up what we have heard from other sources over recent weeks by stating that Spurs are ready to sell Bissouma to make space for a new number 6. However, they say that while the Mali international knows that he is surplus to requirements at Tottenham, he has made it clear to the club that he will only leave for the right offer. The report also adds that despite suggestions from Germany that Arsenal could make a move for Palhinha, the Gunners are playing down their interest in the former Fulham man. Tottenham have reportedly moved ahead of Arsenal in the race to sign RB Leipzig star Xavi Simons, with the Dutch international keen on a move to the Premier League this summer. According to Court Offside, Spurs have already opened talks with the 21-year-old's representatives, viewing him as a top target despite recently securing the signing of Mohamed Kudus. It's understood that manager Thomas Frank is still keen to add another attacker before the new season kicks off, and Simons fits the profile perfectly a dynamic, technically gifted forward with huge untapped potential. Simons, who initially joined Leipzig on loan from PSG, made his move permanent last winter and remains under contract until 2027. However, the Bundesliga side are open to selling should a club meet their £52 million valuation. Spurs view Simons as a player who could flourish under Frank's attacking system, with insiders believing the Dutchman has the ability to become one of the most exciting attacking midfielders in Europe if given the right environment to develop. Meanwhile, Arsenal, also previously linked with Simons, are not expected to step up their pursuit, having recently secured the signing of Noni Madueke from Chelsea. With their forward line now looking settled, Mikel Arteta's side may shift their focus elsewhere, leaving the door open for Spurs to act decisively. Chelsea too have held preliminary talks with the players' camp, but are not thought to be prioritising the move at this stage. There have been some concerns raised about Simon's professionalism and consistency, which might explain the hesitance from certain clubs to meet Leipzig's full asking price. Nevertheless, Tottenham believe the talent outweighs the risk, and with a clear plan in place under Thomas Frank, the club feel confident they could unlock the best version of Simons, potentially making him a standout addition to their evolving project in North London. Spurs have been linked with a move for Giorgio Scalvini from Atalanta. According to journalist Ben Jacobs, they are keeping tabs on the 21-year-old Italian defender, and they could look to make a move for him as a potential replacement for Christian Romero. The Argentine international has been linked with the move away from Tottenham, and they need to replace him. Scalvini is currently one of the most highly rated young defenders in the game, and he could prove to be a solid long-term investment for Tottenham. Jacobs said on the Last Word on Spurs podcast, Tottenham Hotspur are interested in signing the Italian defender Giorgio Scalvini during the summer transfer window. The 21-year-old is highly rated across Europe, and he's on the radar of multiple clubs this summer. He is likely to cost around £50 million. It will be interesting to see if Tottenham are willing to pay the asking price for him. If they end up selling the World Cup winning defender, they should have the funds to afford the Italian. Tottenham can be quite calculative with their approach in the market, and they will not want to overpay for the young defender. It will be interesting to see if they can convince the Italian club to accept a more reasonable fee for the youngster. Even though he is a tremendous young talent, he has done nothing to justify the £50 million price tag. Meanwhile, the move to the Premier League could be the ideal next step for the young defender. Regular football in England could help him develop further. He will be up against world-class attacking players in England, and that could accelerate his development. It will be interesting to see how the situation develops over the next few weeks. The player is highly rated across Europe, and multiple clubs are keeping tabs on him. Tottenham were keen on him under Ange Postecoglou as well. That wraps up today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with all things Tottenham, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for our latest content. Be sure to give this video a like and share it with fellow Spurs supporters. Let's grow the Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for tuning in. And as ever, come on you Spurs.